Good evening. It's like I want to make a joke about a nursery rhyme about the night before Christmas, but like I got nothing. But very soon we will be going to Wisconsin, going to the Northwoods, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of stuff planned. It should be a great time as always. And introducing Willow to the Northwoods when she is ripping around as a toddler is going to be a lot more fun than her in like the newborn meat sack kind of stage of life. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But why you are here is because you are curious as to, you know, what lures I'm going to be leaning towards and what presentations I might be trying to target fish with up in the Northwoods. So I've got a plethora of baits laid out here. It's probably more than anyone would need and probably more than I will throw, but I just wanted to cover the bases and talk about some of the different presentations that I'll be looking to utilize while I'm up north. Okay, so since I've got so many baits to run down, I decided to kind of break this down into categories rather than hi Ace. Alright, before I was interrupted, I decided to break this down into categories rather than just like a few baits, because I've got like 10 or 12 baits here that I want to talk about, and I'm going to try and do this efficiently, but hopefully someone out there will find this useful as to why I am targeting fish in this way and, you know, utilizing these baits in those waters. So, alright, so the first category we're going to run down is spinnerbaits and bucktails. So for this category I'll start it off with the Droptine growler. Again, spinnerbaits are just quintessential musky bait, quintessential bass bait. They work really well, so I've been told. I've never actually caught a muskie on a spinnerbait, but I've caught a lot of bass and a lot of pike on spinnerbaits. So the Droptine growler is going in. It's going to be used in the Northwoods for sure. If I'm not throwing it, there's a high probability that someone else in my boat will be. Alright, next on the list we got the Maven 88. So this is a nice big bucktail with a Mag 8 Colorado, 8 size fluted blade, got some boo hair on it, some tinsel. It just looks a little different. It's got the Roswell action in the middle there, so it just works really well if pike get it or if something happens in the net. That Roswell material keeps it bouncing back to normal. So I've had some success with these in the past, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll be chucking that, especially the flowage green color. Can't beat that up north, so that one is going in the box for sure. Next on the list, this may be kind of a sleeper, but for some of the stuff that I fish, there are some pretty serious breaks that go along with that type of water. So for this I've got the mini grenade. I've had some serious success on the larger version of this. I caught one of my biggest fish last year on the regular grenade up there. And that would have been one of the biggest fish I've ever caught in the Northwoods. Really beautiful 45-incher just in the middle of Nowheresville. So, but the beauty of these grenades is that they really get down there. Even on just like a medium retrieve, this thing's getting down like 8-10 foot. And I really like the mini size version. This thing is just a lot more, I think, accessible for more of those fish. Not saying that fish won't eat big baits, they totally will, but again, you know, if you're throwing the original, which is like 11 inches and this one's like 9, you know, that 9-inch profile, everything eats a 9-inch profile if it's a muskie or a pike. So I really like that profile a lot more. That thing's gonna get some run time up north for sure, especially because when we're getting there, there's probably going to be some bug hatches, and if I'm lucky, maybe some open water stuff still happening. Moving on. This next category we'll kind of talk about rubber a little bit. This is one of my favorite ways to catch fish up north, just ripping rubber out of weeds or using rubber over those weeds. So first one that I'll utilize here is the shallow swim dog. This is a really cool bait. It just comes right over those weeds. It's got a lot of belly roll, a lot of flash. Those fish up north really love this bait a lot. I've had a lot of success with it. I've had a couple first casting muskies in my boat with this bait. Actually, this one in particular, this TRO crappie color, glitter crappie, whatever it's called. Really cool bait. Again, swim baits are awesome. As long as the tail is kicking, it's working. So there's no wrong way to work it. It's a really easy bait to give someone who is inexperienced with musky fishing a shot at just as big a fish, if not bigger fish than anything else on the table that I would show those fish. So it's just, swim baits are awesome because there's no wrong way to work them. Next on the list, I've had success with it before up there. I'll have success with it again. The toad. The toad is an awesome lure for northern Wisconsin. I don't really know why or what it is about the toad, but those fish love them up there. You know, I don't know if it's just because it's got a little bit more hang at times than the bulldogs and the Medusas, but if the timing is right, it is hard to beat a toad ripping it out of that cabbage. So that one is definitely going to be getting some serious run time up north, as it always does. Next on the list, if you followed me at all throughout last year, you'll know that the Medusa treated me really well. So Chaos Tackle Mid Medusa, again, whatever size, the mini, the mid, the reg, the husky, I've got them all packed away. They're going. There will be a variety of offerings as far as deuces are concerned, both in the Wisconsin applications and some of my travel applications. I just really love these baits. They're super erratic. You work them with the Pandemonium leader, you get them ripping back and forth, bouncing, bopping, popping, all the things. The fish cannot stand it when it's being ripped out of that cabbage. Another thing is, I was just doing it randomly because I do it with all of my deuces, is I just like make sure to give them a good bend in the middle, and that'll give it a little bit more side to side, just because of that, the way that the hydrodynamics affect the curvature of the bait versus it just flat and just like going straight versus it hopping back and forth. So again, I feel like I'm talking a million miles an hour, but I've got a lot of baits here. I just want to cover them all, give them their due diligence, get this video out because I want it to be somewhat timely, because I don't really do that, and certainly haven't really had time for it as of late. So the next one on the list is a really cool one that I'm really pumped to throw. I got it recently, and it's a wild lure. This is the Ryan Painter Customs. I think this is the Kitten version. I don't think that this is the Hellcat, where it's a lot bigger, but I mean, this is a smaller version, I believe, and this thing is pretty good size, like the size of a mag dog probably. It's just got a really interesting action to it. I was throwing it a little bit a couple weeks ago. This guy just kind of has a weird roll to it in the water. So like when it's coming in, as you're retrieving it, it's going to roll to the side, and then you'll rip it again and it'll roll back like that. And it's just such a unique style of lure. I'm sure, I think that it was made with the thought and intention of the rivers initially. Just some really cool detail on that, if I can get my camera to focus on it there. But it's supposed to look like a bullhead or a catfish. Just a really interesting lure. I'm pumped to throw this around a lot more, as well as the swim baits. I just didn't have one handy to utilize for this video, but the swim baits are really cool as well. I've got one in my box ready to rock and roll up there too. So that's the little Kitten from Ryan Painter Customs. Come on, camera. It's just being a turd. I wanted to show it. So that's the Kitten from Ryan Painter Customs. Again, just a really cool bait, really cool paint job. That sucker color should work awesome. Natural bullhead, whatever you want to call it. Moving on to the next category. We'll call it like the Twitch category, I suppose. So, as always, when it comes to Twitches, you know that the Ridgeway is going to be in the box. And I had Matt paint this one specifically for Northwoods and northern applications because it looks like a northern. That was the whole point. I wanted this thing to be just a munchable snack for those muskies up north. I fished it some. I need to fish it more than I do. It's hard to get away from the ghost perch because That thing just kicks butt. Like, it just catches fish everywhere. Or the golden perch, sorry. And same with the golden carp, like that thing just crushes everywhere. But the northern pike, this thing is I'm gonna do my best to get this thing bit up there too, and having more than a couple of 10-inch Ridgeways to choose from as to what I'm gonna throw never hurts. But you guys know it, when it comes to the twitching game, I've always got one of those in the box. Another one, if you've been following along on my social media, you will know that I had a really good time in Minnesota chucking the Soul Searcher. There the camera goes. So this thing is going to be coming with me as well. The Soul Searcher did extremely well in Minnesota, got me my personal best musky, and some other absolute tanks up there. So I cannot wait to chuck this little guy around more. Just the way it suspends right over the weeds makes a ton of commotion. The paint jobs are awesome. Nick Maltby does just incredible work. Really good stuff. And you know, it's one of those baits that it's pretty easy to work, easy to chuck. Novices can do it, experienced guys can do it. They just work, and they work well. So that one's gonna be in the box. It's going, it's gonna be, I'm sure it will be working great. So moving on to what I would consider the dive and rise category. So the first one in that category is going to be the 8-inch Maven. So we've got the yep, there it goes. You know, you've seen it before, you'll see it again. Just your standard 8-inch Chaos Tackle Maven. There it goes. Yeah, just they're really good, really effective baits. I'll be throwing the 10-inch as well. I've had plenty of luck up there with the 10-inch. There's just something really unique about the body roll and the profile of the 8-incher that really gets those fish going. I had really good luck with the 8-inch this spring. So if it works down here, it'll work up there too. Moving on, another one that is a staple in my box that hardly ever leaves my box. The one and the only, the SRJ. This is just an absolute fish catching machine. I don't know how many of you watched Glenn's recent video. That tiger that he got on his was insane. I'm hoping to put some more awesome fish in the boat on these. I've had some action on them. We've had some fish eat them. Taylor and I had a couple eat the SRJ together when he was here with me. Unfortunately, those ones did not make it into the boat, but nonetheless, the SRJ pulls fish like nothing in the category. It just sits there and just sits in the water. You can twitch it, you can work it more quickly like Glenn was doing. You can rip it, pull it, pause it. I actually have a lot of success working it more erratically, similar to how I work the Maven. So I can credit Taylor with showing me his secret sauce on that. All right, a couple cool ones to finish out the dive and rise category. So, recently acquired, we've got the top line baits. This is the Adam Mueller dipstick. This is just like the flowage green kind of pattern. The more dive and rise oriented one, not as much the twitch oriented one. I'm really curious to see the action of these. I've had a chance to run his baits some. They get super deep. They're gonna work awesome on those Wisconsin breaks. And let's just say the chip flowage, the flowage green color should come into play pretty big for me. Just this color is awesome. The dude is an artist. It's just, his baits are insane. Yeah, really looking forward to throwing this one if my camera will focus on it. It's hitting my eyeball. There we go. So just the dude is just a straight up artist. These things are awesome. I cannot wait to chuck it. Great stuff. Last, certainly not least, we've got the Bucko. This is one of his bigger ones. I don't know if this is his 12 or his 10, but just kind of a, you know, a gold or yellow belly walleye color. This thing should absolutely crush in the waters that I fish up there. I mean, this thing is just awesome. It's gonna displace a ton of water. It should move, it should shake, it should do all the things that you want a dive and rise lure to do down there. It's super heavy, so I'm sure it will get deep. I've got his 8-inchers too. His 8-inch, I'm excited to chuck that up there. And I know he's got a couple 10s on the way that are gonna meet me there when I arrive, which is super cool. I mean, does it really get any better than that? Getting musky mail the day you arrive to chuck in Wisconsin when you get there? No, it doesn't get better than that. So, anyway, that's the program that I'm rolling. You know, it's going to be a lot of break fishing, a lot of tobacco cabbage. There may be some open water stuff if the opportunity presents itself based on like my past experiences with that, but we'll see what happens there. Obviously, where I can and when I can, I'm going to be running a live pike as much as possible. Those fish just absolutely cream them up there. So that's kind of the program. A lot of cool stuff. I wish I could throw 3 baits at a time and duplicate myself so that way I could figure out the pattern more easily, but alas, I'm only one guy. So hopefully there will be plenty of people to fish with, plenty of good stories to tell once it's all said and done, and plenty of experiences to share with you all. So with that being said, I really appreciate everyone watching this kind of like prep for Wisconsin breakdown, yeah, keep following along. There's more stuff on the way. I've got some other things in the works and some trips planned. So once I find time to edit all this stuff, I will make sure to get it out to all of you. So thank you so much for watching. I'd appreciate if you'd consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.